afternoon, everyone, and thank you once again for joining us at this webinar and for taking time off your work and stroke lunch maybe from some of you guys. Basically today, our webinar focus today is on HPSprinter. It's a fairly new tool from HP. It's a great tool to help manual testers out there as it reduces time and effort to do manual tests. More from this from Michael later as he presents the introduction to HPSprinter and also a quick demo for you guys. Basically, we are proud to do this webinar, this joint webinar with HP, which is our premier partner. They are the market leaders in software test tools around globally, pretty much, and worldwide. Basically, I'll just introduce you quickly to both of our speakers today. Our speakers today are Andy Doughty, which is Head of Business Development for Test House. Andy will briefly introduce Test House, our work, and our couple of engagements within HPSprinter. Michael Patterson is HP pre-sales consultant since 2007. Michael specializes on the HP, BPO, AQM products, which also includes HPSprinter. Just to briefly talk to you about the agenda, just to quickly introduce to you a few minutes. The agenda will talk about Test House, we'll introduce Test House, and also area of focus would be Andy. Andy will introduce both introduction and area of focus from the agenda. And after that, Michael will introduce HPSprinter and quickly do a hands-on demo for you, just to show you some of the brief key functionalities of HPSprinter. And after that, we will have the Q&A session. Just before I go, for our Q&A session, we normally take questions at the end of the presentation, so please hold on to your questions until then. That would be marvelous. Without further delay, I am now passing over to Andy, who will kickstart the presentation. Andy?
Great, thanks Melanie. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for putting some time aside. We're going to go through this fairly quick pace this afternoon, and before I introduce you to Michael, I just want to cover off a couple of points about Test House. We've been running quite a few of these joint webinars now with HP over the last 12 months. We're a HP Gold partner, and you know, in terms of our nature of our business, we work a lot with HP in and around these tools. So to give you quite a brief introduction, Test House, we focus solely on software quality and software testing. As you can see, we've been established now for 11 years. We're a privately owned company headquartered in London. We currently have just over 200 people internationally, so we have over 50 consultants based in the UK. We also then retain regional presence in Madrid and India, the US and the UAE. As I mentioned, some of the key partnerships for us are, aside from HP, are Oracle and SAP. And in terms of how we engage with our customers, you know, we tend to offer very much a sort of tailored service where we can provide resources on site, we can provide expertise remotely, or we can provide offshore solutions. And our aim is fairly clear. We look to help our clients from a strategic and tactical point of view reduce the cost of their testing whilst increasing the quality, the coverage, and the accuracy of the testing that they're currently doing. Okay. And just to sort of touch on the areas of focus, the reason why I wanted to put a quick slide in regarding this is that in and around the HP tool set, you know, we tend to work primarily with the BTO test tools. We do a lot of performance testing and automation of testing, as well as the manual testing that needs to occur. And in and around that, you know, the test tools are very important to us. So things like implementation of test tools, installing test tools, configuration, you know, supporting and mentoring and enabling knowledge transfer to internal test teams. You know, is a big part of the day-to-day sort of activities that our consultants in the UK especially are involved in. But I guess in and around that, you know, some of the other areas that we add value is from a strategic sense. We provide consulting and helping businesses just improve their general processes and achieve their desired outcomes with quality. and we do this independently as we, as I mentioned, a wholly owned UK business. And so what I'll do now is I'm going to pass you on to Michael, who will give an introduction to the tool, who will then provide a demo which hopefully will enlighten most people with interest in this particular tool, and then we'll move on to questions. So Michael, over to you.
Okay, let me go to my slide. Okay, hello everybody. My name is Michael Patterson. I'm, as Melanie said, a pre-sales consultant for a couple of years now within HP, and I'm mainly looking at the applications stack, so quality, performance, security. So within that, with the latest release of Quality Center, we have the exciting new tool for manual testing, which is Sprinter. So the main idea for Sprinter obviously was to improve the situations for manual testing, which hasn't really changed in the last couple of years. So people still spend a lot of time executing these tests. Following the steps is often not easy. It's a lot of repetitive tasks you have to do. If you need to go into different environments, like you maybe want to test something in IE6, IE7 and IE9, you have to run the same test 3 times. So again, it's very time consuming. Then once you actually found a problem, found a defect, you have to communicate this to the developers. And again, that often is a major pain for both sides. So either the description is not clear enough, the tester delivers, or the developer cannot understand it, or some information is missing, or maybe the tester didn't follow the steps exactly as it was supposed to do. So he did something a little bit different, but the outcome changed, and now the developer is unable to replicate the problem by following the steps. So to help with all of that and to make the life of the tester and the developer a bit easier, we created Sprinter, which is essentially an evolution of the manual runner. So Sprinter itself is fully integrated into Quality Center. So it will directly connect to Quality Center, to the project, with all your tests in there. Then you can choose which tests you want to run, and after the test run finish, it will save the test results back into Quality Center as well and make it available to anybody in there or for reporting purposes. Then during the test execution, it will provide you a lot of different tools. You can see the test steps you're supposed to perform. The whole user interface was redeveloped to make it as easy and unobtrusive as possible, so to have as much screen space as possible during testing. So you have basically a lot of little tabs which just pop out when you need them. We also made the life of the tester easier to report defects by providing built-in tools to take screenshots, to make annotation on those screenshots. So you don't need a tool to create a screenshot, then another tool to make some notes on it, and then you save this as an attachment to a defect in Quality Center. It's all within one tool. It makes it easy to clearly communicate defects to the developer and just to make it obvious what is the problem. Then once you found the defect, you can very easily submit this defect directly into Quality Center. You can attach a lot of information to the defect out of the box, like what step you're doing, what did you do before, what actions did you actually perform, and then together with a screenshot or even a movie if you want. Also a task that was usually very difficult and tedious to do was the entering data into an application. So especially if you think of something more complex, maybe an SAP system, an ERP system, you often had to enter a huge amount of data by hand. And of course, it's very easy to get bored with that or make some spelling mistake somewhere which could produce defects which are not really defects. So what we included in Sprinter was data injection. So the ability for Sprinter to actually take a data sheet out of Quality Center or an Excel file you have locally stored, and then use that data to inject it into the application for you. And not only does it speed up the overall process, it also makes it less error prone. Then, of course, time doesn't stand still. So now a lot of people get into the whole agile development, agile testing, and part of that is also the so-called exploratory testing, which means you don't have a fixed script to follow through, but essentially you start to play with the application, look into the areas where you feel most likely you can find something. And once you find a defect after 10 minutes of playing with the application, of course you don't remember what did you do 3 minutes ago and what steps did you perform. So to communicate such a defect could be very difficult to a developer. With Sprinter now, we are actually we're taking a log of all the user actions that the user actually performs during a test. So it's not just the steps he's supposed to perform, but actually the actual actions he does. So again, that makes it very easy to communicate to a developer what he did, and also you can use this then later on as a basis to maybe create a regression test as well. Then finally, something, a great new feature is mirror testing. So mirror testing actually allows you to run the same manual test in multiple environments. So again, probably the best example is you have a web application and you want to make sure it runs in different browsers, on different versions, on different operating systems. So what you can do, you can have one machine that runs IE6, one machine that runs IE7, another one maybe runs Firefox, and you perform your test on the primary machine, and Sprinter will automatically then copy these actions to the other machines where they will be executed as well, and you can then verify that the outcome on the other machines is still correct, it corresponds with what you see, or if there is a problem, it allows you to quickly see what is the difference, or maybe even create a defect and clearly highlight the difference between the testing. And with that, I'm already at the end of my presentation. So what we do next is doing the demonstration, and I will share now my my desktop with you. Bear with me 1 second. So you should be able to see my desktop now. And I already have Sprinter here. So usually what we do first thing is we open a test, and so as I'm directly connected to Quality Center, I can just drill down into my test set and choose one or more tests I want to run. After I select the test, they get downloaded, it will open them. And so now I can get a first overview of what I'm supposed to do. I can see the test description, potential attachments that were attached to the test. I can review the different steps I'm supposed to perform. And I can also look at the parameters of the test script. And I can actually put now, for example, my actual values I want to use if I haven't predefined them. If I'm happy with that, then I can look down into the so-called power mode. So if the power mode is off, it will behave pretty much like the normal manual testing tool. With the power mode on, I can set up the application I want to test. So in this case, it's a web application, and this is the entry URL. I can set up data injection. So I already loaded here a data table out of Quality Center. I can have, of course, several data tables for different areas of the application. I can edit or delete the macros which I can record during a test execution. So if you need to go to a certain place during the test script all the time, maybe you can record a macro once and then you replay that to get to the stage. So maybe in this case we have a login, so I don't have to type in my login details all the time. We can also set up certain rules which are used in mirror testing to ignore certain differences in the application. So for example, if you have an order ID, of course on each machine you run the test, the order ID will be different, but that's not an error. So you can define a rule to ignore that, and so it will not show up as a difference. And finally, I can set up my mirror machines here. Unfortunately, I have only my primary machine available right now, but I could have other mirrors if they're running, and then just add them to my test to use them. So now that we went through the setup, I can press the play button to actually run the test, and so now Sprinter will initialize the run, and because we run in power mode, it will also start the application I want to test. So in this case, it will open the browser and go to the first URL I need to go. So what we have here is the, I think, quite well-known demo application from Quality Center and QTP, so the Mercury Tours. The process is quite simple: logging in, searching for a flight, booking it, logging out again. So now looking at a Sprinter, I have a couple of tools in here. So I can create a defect, I can create screenshots, comments. In the run control, I can set the test status or switch to another test if I have several loaded. I can see how many steps were recorded and if there is a capturing going on. I can use the macros here to log into the application, like that, for example. And so now it will replay the macro and log in. So in the meantime, we also have, of course, the steps, which will show you what is the current step you're supposed to do, and you can OK this. So we logged in, that's fine as well. Now we have to find a flight. And if I don't want to have this this big screen here, I can just switch to subtitle mode. And then I just have this subtitle bar on the bottom, which shows me what to do. So I'm just booking a flight here, and that went fine. And go through that as well. And we're happy with this. So now I'm in the booking field here, and one thing I can do is I can create so-called defect reminders. So for example, if I'm not happy with the color here, but I don't want to do a defect right now, I can actually add a defect reminder here and say wrong color. And that will be stored for later on to be processed. So also now I'm on a page with a lot of data entry, and now I can use the data injection. So in the data injection, we can see here we can choose which data set to use, which parameters, and I just press the inject data button, and now Sprinter will analyze the application and will put the data in the assigned fields. And now we can just process to the next page. So that went well. Now we are on the flight confirmation page, and I'm just assuming now I'm not happy with the color here and the logo. Everything is wrong, it doesn't look good. So what I can do is I can first of all do the actual results. So again, I say wrong color and logo, and I can actually also save a screenshot. I will fail the step, and I also want to create a defect now. So I can create a so-called smart defect. And so the smart defect can include, first of all, the current step, or all the steps we have done so far, or all the steps, or custom. You can set it up the way you want. So again, it will show what you are supposed to do. But it can also include the last user action, so either the last 5, 10, everything, or custom. And then you can actually see here the user actions that I enter data, enter Barbara, I click the buy slide image, and so on. We can submit the screenshot. And now we are on the Quality Center defect entry. So again, it's a seamless integration. I can say wrong logo. I have here in the description all the details I put in here, including the expected result, the actual result, user actions, and so on. Of course, I can edit this as well. I already have the screenshots we created as an attachment here. Of course, I can do the usual thing I can do in Quality Center. For example, I can attach system information if that's relevant, or some other attachments if I want to, and then send this into Quality Center. I can also, as I mentioned before in the presentation, I can do so-called annotations. So if I want to highlight something, then I can just very quickly create some lines, some marks, say wrong logo. We can have a color picker to verify the color, or just measure something, maybe the distance somewhere. So there are a lot of little tools that help you to communicate clearly to the developer what you want to do and how it is supposed to look. Now we can just save this, close it, and go to the next page. So log out, and that's essentially the end of the test run. So I will stop the test run here. And now that we finish the test run, we can look into the results. So the test results, first of all, it failed because I failed a step. And that will be the status within Quality Center as well. We can see how long we took to run this, how many actions we did, how many defects we submitted, the defect reminder we created, and so on. We can now look into the steps again. And this time, of course, we can also see if we did screenshots, or if there were any actual results we put in, like the wrong color. We can look at the defects we submitted, and if I click this link, it will bring me straight into Quality Center to this defect. I can look at the defect reminder and can use this to create another defect. I can also review the user actions, and that's what you could use for the exploratory testing as well, in which I can see exactly what did I do during the test run. So I entered MP, I entered the password, I clicked the sign-in image, and so on. And finally, we can look at the storyboard. So the storyboard, again, is a step-by-step screenshots for everything we did. And we can review these screenshots. Excuse me. We can, for example, also see that we submitted a defect here. And we could also create new defects out of this. So if I find something here, maybe I just want to create a new defect, and then I can use this screenshot as a basis for my defect as well, or could here where we have our defect reminder, I can also then attach user actions and things like that to the defect to communicate this to the developer. So these test results, they are now already automatically uploaded into Quality Center, and that is pretty much the end of the demo. So I'm handing back to Melanie now.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Just waiting for the screen to come back to the presentation, guys. Thank you, Michael, and again, thank you, Andy, for that very informative presentation on a HPSprinter. Just a few seconds, guys, just a couple of seconds delay, I think, on our slides. So basically, we are on a Q&A session now. We would basically, please, if you could just type the questions that you want to ask, maybe Andy and or Michael with regards to the webinar or the presentation today. Your Q&A pod is just below your screen, so please do type any questions you might have, or if you needed more information or you wanted more information on the HPSprinter, the presentation today, please type in your questions. Okay, I've got a few questions coming up, Michael, Andy. I'll just take one from the list. I've got one question from I think it's Michael Everett. Does HPSprinter replace Windrunner and QTP, or is it an additional product? Andy or Michael? Michael?
Yeah. So no, it will not replace QTP. Windrunner is already end of life, so there is only QTP now. But there's a big difference where QTP is a test automation tool, and Sprinter is essentially a manual testing tool. It just helps the manual tester to consolidate all the information as easily as possible for the testing, but it will not do the test for you as QTP would do.
Okay, thank you so much. Hope, Michael, that answered the question. I've got another question from Philip. Can Sprinter be purchased separately from Quality Center? Michael?
No. So Sprinter is essentially a part of version 11 of Quality Center or ALM. So if you have Quality Center 11 or you have ALM, you will get Sprinter with it for free.
Great stuff. Just on that point, actually, Michael, as well, for customers who have HP Quality Center currently under support but don't have version 11 yet, if you need any more information on upgrading or migrating to QC11, at which point when you'll receive Sprinter, then yeah, feel free to get in touch with us directly at Test House.
Marvelous, thank you, guys. Okay, another question. I think I've got a couple of questions from Neil. Neil is asking, is this free with Quality Center 11? I think it is. Michael, is that a yes?
Yes.
Perfect. Neil also wanted one more question. Can you still run a test in the old way in version 11, or do all tests in version 11 need to be run through Sprinter?
No, if you have a manual test in Quality Center 11, then when you want to execute a test, you have the choice between the manual runner or the Sprinter to execute it.
Okay, Neil, I hope that Michael answered your question there.
Hi Michael, this is Zaka from Test House. You're going through the demonstration where you've worked with both Quality Center and HPSprinter simultaneously. Does this mean that you need a single license of Quality Center as well as a single license of HPSprinter, or is that just a one single license?
It's one single license. When you start Sprinter, it will actually consume a Quality Center license.
So it's utilizing a single Quality Center license as well, yeah?
Correct.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, keep the questions coming, guys. I've got another question for you, Michael. It's coming from John. John is asking, does Sprinter only work on web apps or applications, I think? Michael?
No, it doesn't. So in Sprinter currently we support web applications, but we also support .NET, Silverlight, Java, and I think that's it. So, however, that means these supported environments are only for the power mode. So if you want to just have a normal test execution, then it's like the manual runner before. It will work on anything, so it's not depending on the platform.
Okay, got a few more questions. I think it's from Philip. Is Sprinter compatible with Eclipse SWT Java objects? Sorry, Michael, that's probably you again.
So yes,
Sorry.
we support Java.
Perfect. Philip, I hope that answers your questions to Michael. Got a few more. Basically, just take a couple more and then we'll just take some of this offline. I'll get Michael or Andy to answer the questions offline with you guys. I'll just take two more. I've got another one from Stephen. Stephen is asking which browsers are supported. Michael?
So at the moment, we support Internet Explorer and Firefox for that.
Okay. Marvelous. I've got one from Neil. For developers to use Sprinter, can they use it under a QC defect license, or does it require full QC license?
It will require a full license.
Okay, perfect. Lovely, lovely. Keep those questions coming, guys. I mean, again, if you know, we'll take some of these questions offline for Michael or Andy to answer them for you guys. I think that's probably it. Michael, do you want to add anything, or Andy, before we finish the webinar?
Well, no, just again, thanks for everybody's time. I know some people on this webinar are very, very busy people, but it's yeah, nice to be able to provide the demo, and hopefully it's provided some value and some insight and got you thinking about the new tool. But if anybody needs any assistance or wants to have a discussion about how to purchase the tool, upgrade to QC11 to attain the tool, or just about the HP toolset altogether, then please feel free to get in touch.
Perfect. Michael, do you want to add anything else before we go, or?
I'm happy.
Okay. Thank you guys for joining us. A copy of the recording will be with you the latest tomorrow, if not end of play today. Again, thank you all once again for taking the time to join us today. Basically, we've got a few more webinars coming up this year, so see you then, hopefully in a couple of months. We'll all keep you posted, as always. Thank you very much for joining us once again. Thank you. In behalf of Michael and Andy, thank you guys. Bye.